I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. We'll do some chopping today. Go along with me, see what we're into today. So here's notch 13, both sides, giving you a close-up view. Boom, boom. Quick review of the area. All that log is bucked. We got to move it over the fence, and there's the fence. It's flat. You see the smaller log here? It's actually about 15 feet long. It's bucked and over the fence. So we got this log, which it forks up here, and there's about 15 feet from that fork down, about 20 feet here, and then we got the main section here. Then we've got a log right here. It's semi-rotten, aka seasoned, and we will chop it as well. And then we got this big boy here, and he's about 30 feet long. And we got to chop him up next. Just giving you an overview of the area. I'll get back away from all this and look at it. I'm beginning at the stump. I'm standing on top of the stump. There's the log on the left, across the fence, bucked. Here's the log on the right. And this section here, that's another tree that fell from this direction, this way. Okay, that's not the same tree. So we've got a limb here that goes up this way. That limb is bucked, and then that limb is bucked. It's about 15 feet long. And then the fence. So, overview of the area very quickly. Notch number 14. So again, for those that don't know, there's notch 14, and there is my accuracy. Notice the steps, or the lack thereof, in those chops. A little bit of the back end of the TIMBERPILOT there. Alright, this is going to be buck number 14. The best I can get the cameras in on what we're doing, so bear with us. Notice the distance between me and the log. buck number 14. So this is buck number 15, and you may be kind of confused about the order, but the reason why, I've got to get this log off this fence. I've got to get this fence up as soon as possible. So we're going to buck this. That position was chosen so that I could have enough room between the fence here and my chopping position. The chopping from the other side is not a problem. 45-degree angle hooked up here, go to work. Up on the log. And again, I want you to think about misses, think about safety gear right here. Alright, knot right here. Right. Back up on the log. go. Notch 15. This is buck number 15 on this project. That would be considered a miss. There's my finger width in the glove. My miss. Buck number 15. This is notch number 16. Two intersecting 45-degree angles coming right through the center of a knot, and the knot rides right here. Or it did. Up on the log. boys call that one. I think I'm going to widen it just a little bit. My angle is off about 6 degrees. Here's the view of the top side of notch 16. This should be 90 degrees. I told you I was off about 6 degrees and I widened it ever so slightly. We'll also look at the face. Here's what it looks like looking straight on. You can see a place or two where, like right here, for example, there's a pretty good step that I considered a miss when I asked you, did you boys catch that one? Respectfully. So there's a look at notch number 16. All right, this is buck number 16. So the initial bark, good sized chips on the initial bark, and they should be most of the time. And then not the bark chips. Really good chips from this Casterman TIMBERPILOT. Again, two intersecting 45-degree angles. And again, as we said, the initial bark chip should be large. Should be, and it's not always. shot. Here's a size 15 boot. Okay, that's a monster. And so is the chip. Another big one. Big knot right in here. I think I messed the camera up again. Oh, not too bad. There went the knot. Light swings. Now I'm going to get us some horsepower right here. Light swings. There we go. Buck number 16. So for those of you that care to see the face of the back side of the buck, here and here, in my opinion, it looks better than the other side. And of course, here's the big wood chip that I compared to my size 15 boot. So here it is in relation to the TIMBERPILOT. So the TIMBERPILOT, that's another thing a lot of people don't realize. That is not a boy's axe. That is a big axe. I think the majority of them weigh 4 to 4.5 pounds. Those that are on the market, that one total weight is 5 pounds 11 ounces, including the handle. And that's a 29-inch custom handle built by Mr. Winston Freiberger to my specs, almost exactly. With his design, of course, my length of handle and my preference is usually something straight like that. But a very, very good performing axe, as you've seen, in my opinion. You may agree, you may disagree. So, laying out the day's work, there's the Fiskars XA22 Picaroon, my Wells Lamont gloves, the Casterman TIMBERPILOT. And so we see these poles here, we'll chop them into cordwood, and we'll chop these little poles here into cordwood to put up under all these logs, and these are substantial logs. Here's our axe chips. We've already looked at the face of buck and notch 16, so we did 15, 14, 13. But anyway, there's several of those bucks. Here are 3 substantial logs that were bucked today. Here's our axe chips. And we drug those logs from off down in here just now. And there's buck number 15. And then back up the log, you see my bony hat. That's a U.S. Marine crafted. And then my backpack, that is an Alice, an original Vietnam era Alice pack with a bucket in it. I carry my water, my chainmail, and incidentals, camera gear, everything in that. So you see these 2 big logs here. You see this one off to my left and this one coming up to my right. This one on my right is about 20 feet long, and the one on my left probably 30 feet. And I'm not going to talk about what I'm going to do with all this, but those of you that watch the channel, you know exactly what I'm going to do. Mr. Tim Gent has spilled the beans in his latest video, and I will link that in the description of this one. So more or less he has stated what's going on his channel. Everybody, have a good day, a good week, and thank you for watching.